Hi, welcome to your Yin class for this week. So, we actually are going to be a bit prop heavy today. So, a couple of options. Either have two yoga blocks nearby or a pillow and then a rolled blanket or two rolled blankets or two pillows. So, whatever props that you go with, you'll probably need two of approximately the same size. That being said, um, not everybody will be comfortable lying on any of the props the way that we're laying on them. So you may choose to just completely skip the props altogether, and that's fine too. You'll just have to listen to your body and do what feels good. And so the props mainly today, we're going to be using them to be getting a bit more chest opening and expansion through the front of our chest, and to counter this kind of upper back rounding that so many of us are getting from sitting around the computers all day. So grab your props, and then if you can position your mat close to the wall at first, that would be great. So let's actually just hop right into it, and we're going to start. I'm going to have you stand facing a wall with your feet approximately hip width distance underneath of your pelvis. And then reach your hands forward to see if you need to adjust your stance and either step further away or closer to the wall. Essentially, we're going to be coming into this L shape on the wall. So get yourself positioned so that you can reach your hands out in front, placing your palms firmly on the wall, and then coming into this supported kind of half forward fold here. And so go down as much as feels good. If you want to stay more up, stay more up. If you really want to crawl down the wall and hang a little bit lower, go there. Just trying to get a little bit of opening in the hamstrings and maybe feel a little bit something in the low back. I'm breathing here. So there's a little bit of spine today, a little bit of chest opening, a little bit of hip flexor opening. We kind of have a little bit of the full gamut going on. And like I mentioned before, please don't use any of the props if for some reason that makes things more comfortable. The props that we're using today are essentially here to get us more cozy into the pose. Okay, go ahead and release those hands, coming into just a forward hang here. You can bend your knees a lot or a little, depending on what feels better. Hands can dangle, opposite hand can clasp opposite elbow. You can shift from left to right. You can even rock your weight forward and back from the toes to the heels. Just feel a nice stretch on the back side of the body. And then grab your yoga block if you're going to use one. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider than the mat. Place your right hand either on the mat or on a yoga block. Left hand to hip, and then open the left shoulder towards the left side of the room. So we're coming into a little bit of a standing twist here. You can stay here or you can open up that top arm for just a little bit more. And breathing here, choosing whichever arm variation. And when you twist it to the left, see if you shifted your hips more to the left. And if you did, pull your hips more towards midline. For 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and come into a wide-legged forward hang just for a moment. Rocking on your toes, front to back. And then place your right hand on your right hip, left hand either on the block or a mat, and then twist to the right. You can stay here or you can open up that right arm to the sky. And then when you twisted, see if you shifted your hips over to the right. And if you did, bring your hips more towards the center of your mat. So we're really trying to keep the pelvis, the hips exactly where they are, and just twist the upper body. For 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, move your yoga block if you have it. Come into a wide-legged forward fold again. Rolling forward and back on the toes and heels. Now find your way to a comfortable seat. And if you can orient yourself so that you're facing the wall and about an arm's distance, that's going to help out for the next pose. But for the time being, comfortable seat, you can cross your legs in front of you, you can kneel, any option. We're going to do seated cat-cow, so inhale, look up, pull your chest forward and through. Exhale, round back. You can even shift your weight back if you want, kind of lifting your knees up and coming more on to your tailbone, pulling forward, inhaling. Exhale, round back. Now go with your own breath, your own pace, and make this as big or as little as you want. If you just want to stay more seated and do little micro cat-cows, or if you want to really roll your whole body and get your whole body into it, you can even get your arms into the motion. Make it your own. Experiment with it. See what feels good. Maybe you twist from one side to the next. Just doing all these motions really to wake up the spine. Say hello. Get a little circulation and blood flow going. Maybe back to cat-cow. And if you like doing this on your hands and knees, absolutely go for that instead. Maybe twisting again. Start to settle your movement, slow your movement down. Looking forward. Now reach your hands towards the wall again, and then let your upper body fold down. And arms can be high if that feels better. Arms can be low if that feels better. And breathe here. Maybe now releasing your hands from the wall completely and just bowing down. Let your upper back round. Getting nice and cozy here. Letting your head hang heavy. Slowly walk your hands in. Now we're going to come into Garland Pose next, which is not accessible for everybody. So let me show you what it is. Basically, it's just a really deep squat. So you can either just from sitting, sit in between your heels, toes pointed out towards the side, palms to heart, and you can use your elbows to open your knees wide. It's easier for you to come from standing. You can stand up, spread your legs a little bit wider than hip distance, and then sit all the way down this way. And if you're looking at this and you're like, no way, you can either just sit on your bum with your legs wide and have your elbows propped up in between your knees, or you can do a wall squat against the wall. So shifting your butt, swinging your legs up, and doing a type of wall squat like this. So if you've been holding Garland pose this whole time, awesome. We're going to be here for a little bit. And if you need to do one of the other variations, get yourself settled. We're just sitting as deeply as we can here. feeling some sensation around the hips, and it really depends on where you need it. That's probably where you're going to feel it. So our Yin Principles, we come to our edge. So we are looking for some sort of sensation, and this doesn't have to be super intense sensation, but really we're looking for some sort of feeling. Maybe a stretching, maybe a little bit of discomfort, maybe a little bit of heat, maybe a little bit of stiffness, just some sort of sensation. We find stillness once we hit that point, and we hold for time. So whatever the sensation that you're feeling, we really want it to be to the level where you can hang out there for a few minutes. And so you get somewhere in any pose today and you're like, I can hold this, but only for 20 seconds. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's probably more appropriate for a different style class. So if you find yourself in that point, pull out of the pose a little bit so that you get to a point where you can hold it, the sensation, and be comfortable in the sensation for at least a couple minutes. And some of the poses today will be holding for 4 minutes and some a little bit less. So if you are doing the wall squat, or if you're just sitting on your bum with your legs wide, you can stay here. If you're with me in Garland, what I'm going to have you do is roll forward onto your knees so that we're in tabletop. Bring your feet to touch and then walk back so you're sitting on your heels. Now, shift your weight back so that your knees are lifted off the mat. Spread your knees wider than the mat, and then walk your hands forward so far that you can also sit back and flatten your heels against the mat. So I will show you from this front direction. So feet touch, knees wide. So that's what it looks like under there. And then we walk forward so much that we can shift our butt back so that we can sit on our heels, because your heels are really going to want to be raised and lifted. And the point is to see if we can get them close to the mat, as close as possible. And sometimes you can, if there's something you can hold on nearby, that'll help you from falling all the way back. But if not, you can use this kind of counter, this reaching forward motion to keep you from following all the way back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and sit on your bum. If you were in one of the other squats, come out of that now, please. Push off the wall and grab either 2 yoga blocks or 2 pillows or a blanket and a pillow. So what we're going to do is, and you can play, if you're using blocks, you can play with the height of each block. You may want to do it differently than I'm showing. Same goes if you're going to be using the pillows or blankets. You can play with the height and the cushioning. And so I'm going to be demoing with blocks, but you can sub either one of these or both of these out for the blanket, for the pillow. So this top block is going to be for my head. And so I'm putting it on the medium height. And then the second block is going to be for my back, kind of mid-back bra strap area. And I'm going to put that on its lowest height. So have a seat, send your legs out in front of you. And you'll have to play around with the spacing here. Start to lean back and play with that first block so that you can put it somewhere in the mid-back area. And then roll back, grabbing this top block and placing your head on it. Extend the left leg long. Actually, I take that back. Extend the right leg long. It'll be easier for you to see it if we do it this way first. Extend the right leg long and then open the left leg into tree. So you will bend the left leg and then open that knee up so that your left foot is now inside the right groin area. And again, remember, we can do pillows or blankets here, and you do not have to use any props if this is uncomfortable. Arms can open up to the side. They can come into cactus position. They can be down by the side of your body with your palms up. They can be on your chest and your tummy, whatever feels good. I'm going to have my arms more in a goalpost position, getting a little bit more stretch through the pec area and chest opening. And breathing all the way down into your tummy, possibly closing your eyes. And I want this to be cozy, so I always say find stillness, once we're in the pose, find stillness. However, if you need to shift around and move the blocks or switch the blocks for pillows or take the blocks out completely, do that. The props are meant to be cozy and comfortable so that you can stay here for just a little bit longer. So we're going for a little bit of opening on that left hip through the inner thigh area, a little bit through the hip flexor area. And then depending on the position of your arms, you're going to get different things. The higher up your arms are, you may get more chest opening. If your arms are down by your body and your palms are face up, you're getting a little bit more external rotation in the shoulders, so a little bit more spiraling open through those arm bones. If your hands are on your tummy, that's going to round your shoulders in just a little bit, but if you have shoulder issues, you may need that arm bone to be rotated in a little bit so it puts less stress on your tissue. If you've had your head block on the medium setting and you want to try lowering it down to see how that feels, give it a go. That might feel more comfortable. If you're feeling really good, you can remove the block from your head and just keep the block or your pillow or your blanket rolled underneath the mid-back area. Okay, start to deepen your breath. I'm going to start to come out of this. If you have a certain way that sounds better for you to move, do that. Otherwise, let's all just roll off of our props to the left side of the mat, the left side of our body. Use your bicep as a little head pillow. And then push up onto your hands and then onto your knees. You might need to move your props out of the way. And let's just do a couple rounds of cat-cow. Really maybe rounding through the upper back, coming onto your fingertips. And then dropping the belly down, looking up. Maybe wag your tail from side to side. Take any little rebound movement that sounds good. Maybe take some big swooping circles from the right to the left of the mat and then the left to the right. The point is just to get a little bit of movement back in the body. Okay, so we will do the other side. So have your props, your head prop and your mid-back prop approximately where you think they need to go. Bend both of your knees. Start to roll back. You can come onto your forearms. Move that back block where it needs to go. And then put your head bolster underneath your head. Extend the left leg long. Bend the right knee open towards the side, coming into a supine tree pose. That right sole of the foot is on the inner left groin. And then hand positions. You can have your arms down by your side, palms up. You can have your hands onto your tummy or your chest. You can have your hands at a cactus position. And even stretch them long overhead if you like. And maybe play around with a different hand position than you used on the other side. Coming to our edge, finding stillness, remaining for time. And remember, if you need to play around with your bolsters at all to make it more comfortable, please do. And so you can remove the head bolster if you're feeling pretty good. If the bolsters are not working for you on the second side, just take them out. It doesn't matter if you do them on one side or the other. Just about another minute here. Don't force yourself though, so if you need to remove your props, you can take them out now and lay here flat for the last few moments. And if the sensation that you're feeling ever gets to the point where you notice that you're starting to hold your breath, where you notice that you're starting to tense either that area or a different area of the body, those are two big signs that it's time to either come out of the pose or back out of the pose just a little bit to lessen the intensity. So tensing, if you're tensing or if you're holding your breath, those are two major tools to let you know to change what you're doing. And let's start to come out of this. If you have a specific way you would like to, go for that. Otherwise, I'm going to roll onto the right side of my body, just roll off of the props. Maybe use my upper arm as a little bit of a bicep pillow just for a moment. And then pushing up slowly, moving myself to hands and knees, little cat-cows. And the cow, the rounding, is probably going to feel a little bit better than the cat where you drop your belly. So you can stay more on the rounding side of things if that feels better. And again, you can take any motion that you want. You may decide that laying flat on your back sounds better than this, or maybe a forward fold. Okay. So I'm going to switch to a pillow now. If your back is feeling pretty good, you can stay with whatever props that you're doing. I'm just starting to feel, I'm noticing that I'm feeling a little stiff after that. So I'm just going to switch my prop to something softer. So you make the decision for yourself if you want to keep doing the way you're doing or move to something a little bit more squishy like me. And I'm not going to use a pillow for my head, but this, if you're switching out, you can also use a pillow for the head here. So let's roll onto our butt again. Start with your knees bent. Use your forearms to shift your weight back, and you can place your mid back on your bolster. Come back down, lying flat, and then this time let's have our legs in a reclined butterfly. So soles of your feet touching and knees wide here. And arms, you can do whatever you want with arms. They can be by your side palms up, by your side palms down. You can rest one on your chest, one on your tummy. You can have them in a cactus or a goalpost, or you can even just stretch them long up above your head. While we're here, if you'd like to play around with your breath a little bit, you can inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to a count of 5. And imagine that you're breathing out of a straw, so your lips pucker just a little bit. When we breathe and when we exhale, if we exhale a little bit longer than the inhale, it's incredibly good and soothing for the nervous system. So inhale to a count of 4, exhale to a count of 5, breathing out of your straw. Just about another minute here. Inhale to your count of 4. Exhale to your count of 5. Breathing through that straw. Okay, use your hands to help push your knees back together. And then either roll onto one side and push up towards the seat, or find yourself in a seated position any way that you like. Now go ahead and cross your legs in front of you and walk your hands forward, coming into a forward fold. And you can either bring your hands and forearms down to the mat, or if you're by your wall and you'd like to use the wall, go for that. Let's just take our back in the opposite direction it was. If you want to take some more, this is a little bit more of a, this is a little rebound hold. So if you'd like to take a more active rebound motion and do your cat-cow or do some twisting, you can feel free to move right now. Otherwise, you can just stay in this forward fold. Nice deep breath, breathing all the way down into your low back. Move your props out of the way if they're still on your mat, and then roll back down to your back, bending your knees towards your chest and doing some nice big knee circles. Starting off going one direction only. And then after several times in that direction, when you're ready, you can alternate towards the other direction. Now go ahead, plant the soles of your feet down so that your knees are bent and your feet are close to your bum. And then drop your knees from side to side in this tick-tocking motion. Now, what I'm going to have you do is the next time your knees go to the right, let them completely fall over to the right so that they're nice and heavy. They're resting bent towards the right side of your mat. And then with your left hand, if you can grab your foot, grab your foot. If not, you may have to sit up a little bit to grab the foot and pull it closer towards your bum. So if that feels uncomfortable, you can leave your leg in less of a bend and keep your foot further away from your body. But if you can pull that foot in and even almost tuck the top of your foot on top of your mat, that's awesome. So this is option one. So this is reclined hero or saddle pose, but on one side. If this is not doing anything for you, if you're not having any sensation, what I'll have you do is sit up, sit on your heels, and you can either stay on your heels or sit a little bit in between your feet, and then shift back so you're resting on your forearms or all the way onto your back. And now you're doing, if you're here, you're doing both sides at the same time. So you'll just stay here while we go from when we hold one side and move to the next. So you'll stay here, whereas my one-legged saddle people, we will have to do each side independent. So we're looking for some sort of sensation on the front of the leg, either hip flexor area, quad area. Sometimes the top of the feet don't like being pressed into the mat, so you may have to shift the angle of your feet. Sometimes the knees don't like being bent like this, so you have to adjust how much your knee is actually flexed. And same goes if you're doing the full version, if you're doing both sides at the same time, you may have to adjust how bent your knees are and whether or not you're sitting between your heels or you're sitting on your heels. Arms can do whatever they like by your side, palms up. You can rest on your tummy or chest, or again, you can reach up overhead. Okay. My folks that are doing this one-legged with me, go ahead and kick your foot out so that you can bend both of your knees again. We'll tick-tock them back and forth. If you're doing the full version where both legs are bent underneath of you, you can stay there, or if you've had enough, move into another pose or just lie flat on your back and wait for us while we do the second side. So let's drop our knees over to the left so they're nice and heavy. Then either sit up to grab your right foot, or if you can grab it from a laying position, grab it that way. And then pull your foot close to the right hip and rotating the foot just a little bit so that you're actually resting, or you're trying to rest mostly on the top of that right foot. If that hurts your knee, you can rest on the inside edge of that right foot and have your knee not so bent and not so tucked under your body. And looking for some sensation on that right thigh. Might be close to your hip, might be more through the quadricep area. You just don't want any ankle pain or knee pain. Breathing in to a count of 4. Exhale to a count of 5 through the straw. About another minute here. If you're still in full saddle or full hero pose, as we call that too, come out of that the way that you went in. So push yourself back up onto your forearms and walk yourself forward. And if you're with me, go ahead and shift your foot out to the side so that you can bend both of your knees again. Let's everybody meet flat on our back, pulling our knees to our chest, doing some big knee circles again. You can go one way and then the other way. Feeling your tailbone shifting on the mat as you roll from one side to the next. Now let's extend the left leg long out in front. Squeeze your right knee to your right shoulder just for a few moments, really give it a nice, put some muscle behind it. Nice big inhale, and then exhale that knee over the left side of the body, coming into a spinal twist. Extending the right arm out towards the side if that feels good. If not, you can keep that arm closer to your body. And then head and neck can look over towards those right fingertips, or you can look up towards the sky. Depending on where you're tight, you may feel this in completely different areas. So you could be feeling something more in that right chest, that right pec area. Maybe feeling, you could even feel something through the side or rib cage area. You can feel something through the hip area, maybe even the outside of the leg, the IT band area. If your leg is raised, since you have your props nearby, absolutely put something underneath that knee. That'll make it a little more cozy for you. Same with that upper arm. If that upper arm's floating, feel free to put a pillow or block underneath of your hand. Let's start to roll back onto our backside. Shift your upper body and your hips so that you're lying flat and your weight is even from one side to the other. And then squeeze the left knee to left shoulder. So we're not squeezing it above our torso. Our leg is actually a little bit more towards the outside of our rib cage. Nice big inhale. Exhale, draping that left leg over to the right. Nice spinal twist, reaching the left arm out towards the side, and either looking towards your left fingertips or up towards the sky. And again, we can put some bolsters under the top arm. We can put a bolster under the left knee. Inhale to a count of 4. Exhale to a count of 5. Let's shift our weight back onto our back. Bend the knees to the chest, and you have the option to do some more knee circles again, or grab on the back side of your hamstrings and do a little rock and roll from front to back. Okay. Let's face the front side of our mat and shift our legs so that we can bend our left leg and have that left shin parallel with the top, and then bend your right knee out towards the side. You have the option to stay exactly where you are in this upright position, or start to walk your hands forward at a diagonal, folding over that left knee. So most of the sensation is probably going to be on the left side of the hip there. Now, if this feels good when you're at this diagonal and you would like to play around with maybe going for a little bit more sensation, you can try walking your hands more towards the midline of the mat so that you're now draped over the front shin rather than the front knee. And yeah, one of those may feel better, one of them may feel more challenging. Pick the one that sounds right for your body. We're going to be here for a little while, so if that is not working for you at all, you have the option to have start with both of your legs bent in front of you, and then cross your left ankle over the right knee. So you can come into this kind of figure four, and you can even do the thread the needle where you reach your hands through your legs and come into more of this position. And lastly, you also have the option to do this against the wall. So holding this for a while can get really tiring on the arms. So if you do have your wall nearby, you can scoot close towards it, put your right foot on the wall, lift your hips up, and then cross the left ankle over, and then sit your hips back down. Okay, so lots of options for this stretch. This one that I'm showing is called deer pose. About another minute here. If you've had enough, go ahead and just lie flat on your back. And you can wait for us to move on. All right, let's start to walk our hands back in, sitting upright again. If you took a different version of this pose, come out of that now, and we will switch to the right side. So bending your right knee in front of your body, so that right shin is parallel with the front of the mat. Left knee is bent towards the side, and you can play around with how much that left knee is bent. You can have it more tucked up close to the front foot, or you can even have it, shifted further back behind you. Nice big inhale. Exhale, forward, fold forward over that right knee, and you have the option to stay more at an angle or walk your upper body more towards midline so that you're folding more over your shin than the knee. And now remember, our options, if that does not work, you can cross your right ankle rather, over that left knee. Have your hands propped behind you. You can come down to laying, thread the needle, and then lastly, you can also put that left foot against the wall, holding your legs in this position. We are looking for some sensation on the outer right hip, but we don't want pain. So take a different option if this deer pose does not work. Inhaling to a count of 4. Exhaling to a count of 5, breathing through your imaginary straw. About another minute here. And if you've had enough, feel free just to rest onto your back until we're ready to move on. All right, let's start to walk our hands in so that we can sit up. If you're taking a different option than deer, come out of that pose the best way you can. Let's swing both of our hips forward, both of our feet forward rather. An option to do a couple rock and rolls on your back again, or just lay flat. And we are going to be moving into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So this is the time. Take any other movements that sound good. Maybe you want to do one more forward fold. Maybe you want to do one more spinal twist each way. Maybe you're already lying flat on your back and that's exactly where you want to be. All right, let's start to bring our energy back down to the mat. Lying flat, maybe squeezing your shoulder blades back underneath your back, tucking them into the back pocket of your heart. Legs a little wider than your mat, perhaps. Arms, maybe you open them a little wider than you typically do. You blink your eyes closed, focusing on your breath, possibly even counting to 4 on your inhale and counting to 5 on your exhales. While you're lying here on your back, perhaps to yourself you can say, I am present. Taking a deep breath through your nose, exhaling out of your mouth and saying to yourself, I am present. Feel the power of your words and the vibrations in your chest if you were to say that out loud, and the clarity taking over through your body. And maybe this time, so you can feel the vibration in your chest, say out loud, I am present. Use your breath to inhale peace and positivity, exhaling out negativity and whatever makes you feel uncomfortable. I am present. Take a moment to reflect on maybe what it is that you need to hear and what it is that you need to tell yourself. And see if you can turn that into an I am statement. I am calm. I am okay. I am strong. I am focused. I am attentive. I am happy. I am wise. I am everything that I need to be. Create your own I am mantra. Sometimes we have to be the people to tell ourselves what we need to hear. Either in your head or out loud so that you can feel the vibration in your chest. Say your statement. Say your I am statement. I am present. I am calm. I am okay. I am strong. Whatever's going on right now, see if you can use that statement to cultivate what you need. Tuck this statement in your pocket to save for later. Use it on your yoga mat. Use it off your yoga mat. Use it when you're falling asleep or trying to fall asleep. Use it in the morning when you're trying to get out of bed. And maybe you don't know what to say yet. So just think about that and reflect on it. Or just pick something, even if it doesn't resonate with you yet, pick something. And the right word will come to you eventually. You're not stuck with it. Inhale, nice big inhale, reaching your arms up overhead. Maybe circling the wrists and the ankles, giving your body one last stretch before we close practice. Rolling on to one side of the body. Pausing for a moment. Pushing yourself up towards a seated position. Nice big inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Pause at the top, touching your palms. What's your statement? What is your I am statement? Do you not have one? Say, I am present with me. If you do have one, use yours. And either in your head or out loud, as we begin to draw our hands to our chest, say your statement, I am present. I am loved. I am okay. Pulling that into your heart. Blinking your eyes closed if they're open. Breathing space into your chest so that your statement has room to settle and so that your statement has room to nestle and get cozy. Bowing forward. Namaste. Peace be with you. Thank you so much. I really love I am statements or any type of affirmation. So often we repeat to ourselves in our head during the day, during the night. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. That is too hard. That's not working. And I really believe in the power of shifting those thoughts to a more positive place. And it's hard because you don't believe it at first, especially if you are struggling with something, especially if something tough is on your mind. It's so hard to say, I'm okay, if you don't feel like you're okay. So it can feel a little forced. And I get that. However, I'm saying like this is stuff that has worked for me big time. So, find some sort of statement or something that resonates with you that you can say during the hard times or even during, it doesn't even have to be hard. Maybe you're feeling sluggish or tired and you need to, you have 2 hours left on your work shift and you're not focused and you just want to go home. And so maybe you say, I am present, I am present, I am present, rather than I am tired, I am tired, I am tired. So just a easy little shift like that has made the world of difference for me. And I know that stuff doesn't work for everybody, but take it or leave it. That's my final thoughts. So have a great rest of your morning, your evening, whatever you've got going on. Take your statement with you, tweak it if you need to, let it go if it doesn't work, and I'll see you later.